What's good everyone, you dig, 4 Eyes, 2Gs here, and today we're here to talk about Mexico Dro, who makes up part of the Beats Plugs team alongside people like Polo Boy Shorty and Stupid Zool, who would all be responsible for making a wave in the infant SoundCloud scene back in 2014 and 15 with this signature sound that built the very foundation for the early underground SoundCloud sound. And Dro in particular became very notorious in the SoundCloud scene, and his sound got replicated endlessly over the years and spawned a lot of clones, responsible for SoundCloud classics like Broke Boy,
Why should I keep jugging all these broke boys?
Plug, Hella O's, 30 round clip, not to mention Count It Up and Don't Tell Nobody.
Missy Irons, I don't fuck with nobody.
Dro became an underground icon, and the Plug tag has got to be one of the best tags to come out in recent years.
Plug.
However, fast forward to August 2019, and to be quite frank, it's day and night for where Dro is right now compared to where he was back then. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to maintain his spot as a leader of the newer sound, nor has he really been able to make himself a household name in the mainstream. And although he is far from being completely irrelevant, as he's worked alongside the likes of Maxo Cream and Young Bands in recent times, it's safe to say that he wasn't able to capitalize on the opportunities that he had back around 2015. And in this video today, I wanted to give my opinion why. Now, before we get on, just a reminder, if you haven't, make sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe to your boy also, and also shout out to the following people: Velo Nick, Thamal Mendo, Aiden Tabritzi, and Orlando Salazar for commenting on my recent Instagram posts. If you're not already, make sure to follow your boy on Instagram at your dig, link in the description. And also, just a quick reminder, Playboy Carti merch designed by Death the AQ out right now, link in the description to cop one if you're interested as well. We've only got a couple sizes left and they're about to sell out, so be sure to get one if you're interested. But getting back to Mexico Dro, and the first issue with Dro came from his beef with Playboy Carti and Rich the Kid. Although Dro has worked with swarms of Atlanta-based artists, he kind of became infamous and well known for his work with Carti on tracks like Broke Boy, Money Counter, and Plug with Rich, as I said before. However, the two's relationship would begin to sour across 2016 and 17, which eventually led to them not working anymore. And although they seemed to get cool again right before Self-Titled came out, with video of them in the studio and working on music together, just before release, the relationship would end up going south again. Essentially, what happened here was, and Carti has been called out for this multiple times before by the likes of Milan, Dro said that Carti stole his beats and never paid for them. But the reason why this hurt Dro so much was that because Carti's work with Dro hadn't blown up in the mainstream. 2015 Carti was still underground, and as we know, Dro only had one beat from Self-Titled, whereas the majority of the tape was handled by Pierre. So this means that when Carti started to really take over with his sound in 2017, and I want to stress this is from a mainstream perspective, but it was Pierre that was seen as the curator of this sound, of this production style, and he was given that opportunity to take his movement to the next level, which Pierre definitely has, and the glow up he's had since 2017 is huge. Whereas Dro, because of his beef with Carti, didn't really benefit from Carti blowing up in the same way, or really benefit from it all outside of that one beat on Self-Titled. It's well known that Dro comes from a very street orientated background, and for better or for worse, he keeps things quote unquote very real. I say that to say that Dro doesn't really seem to play the industry politics game. As such, he doesn't shy away from beef or speaking his mind, whether that be on IG Live or Twitter, and as such, I think this has hurt him, particularly with this Playboy Carti example, because when Carti blew up and took over to the mainstream, it wasn't with the production by Dro, so Dro didn't really see the fruits of his labor with Carti. Whereas if they were still cool and Carti still went over majority of Dro production, maybe right now it would be a different story. And in addition to this, we also saw Dro beef with Rich the Kid over the Plug beat situation. That beef isn't really necessary to detail for this video, but a couple years after they beef, we then saw Rich the Kid take off in the mainstream with songs like New Freezer and Plug Walk, but because of their beef, Rich and Dro never worked again after Plug. So yet another torn relationship with Dro and an artist that we saw blow up and go crazy in the mainstream, but because of their beef together, Dro didn't get a chance to work with them on the come up and when they exploded. And furthermore, looking at this from the outside perspective, I think the perception that these beefs gave Dro was not a healthy one for his career. Although I'm not saying that Dro made up facts or is lying or was in the wrong for beefing, I just think that he kind of looked away to the public in a sense, and after this, people were kind of hesitant to work with him, and it kind of hurt his public image a lot. Furthermore, another factor that isn't really quite well known by people that has hurt Dro a lot And this harkens back to my point about him coming from a very street background, is that Joe has been to jail on more than one occasion. And obviously, when you go to jail as a producer, your whole movement naturally begins to slow down. It's not only the fact that you can't make beats, but there is also the whole other aspect of you not being able to be on the music scene, not being able to discover new talent, to build relationships, so you were constantly missing out on opportunities to work with artists. And we saw this happen just as recently as 2018, with Joe being locked up for several months, with him only getting back out at the very start of 2019. And really, those 2 or 3 factors there, between the beefs in general with Playboi Carti and Rich the Kid, and as well as him going to jail on multiple occasions, I think have kind of been the couple key reasons as to why Joe's career hasn't quite taken the path it could have. And as I said, it's not too late. It's not like his production isn't fire. I love songs like Grannies by Maxo Cream or Different Colors by Yachty and Bands, so hopefully we can either see him get some new placements or just get lucky with that fresh artist who happens to blow up. But that's all from me today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Also, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to your boy, and there are more videos of mine on screen right now. Make sure to check them out if you haven't.